we're going to do Cracking WEP update.
Alright, in this update we're going to show you 4 new attacks. A little bit better than the last attacks we showed you. The first 2 that we're going to show you are ARP Request Replay and Fragmentation Attack. These 2 are clientless attacks. They don't require clients to be connected to the AP. The next 2 are client-based attack. They are Cafe Latte and the Hurt attack. And then finally we're going to show you a new way to crack the IVs. It's the PTW crack. So let's get to it.
Alright, for this video we're going to be using Backtrack 3. And like usual, we are going to be using our Linksys W-USB54GC wireless card. And if you do a mod info on the RT73 driver, you'll see that it already has the enhanced driver installed. So we don't have to go and download the new drivers like we did for episode 16 when we cracked WPA. Alright, so all we need to do is kind of input some commands to set up our wireless card. Of course, we gotta enable it, put it into monitor mode, and then we're going to do the IWPriv and Force Prism 1 and IWPriv RFMon TX1, and this will just make our injection a little bit more reliable. And also we're going to configure our transfer rate to 1 megabyte. This will also make our injection more reliable. And then we can just start Kismet using the start-kismet-ng command. Kismet's a good program to find access points in your area. And we're going to be attacking Infinisys access point, and it's on channel 5. Alright, that's about all the information we need right now, and it's all set up. So let's get into the different methods of increasing the IVs. The first attack we're going to show you is the ARP Request Replay attack.
Now this attack is probably the most reliable for generating IVs. Basically what it does is it looks for an ARP request and then it sends that ARP request to the AP and then it repeats that ARP request. So the ARP request then gets a reply back from the AP, but every time it sends that reply back there's a new IV, and this allows us to get to generate unique IVs very quickly.
So let's get started here, and we're just going to run arrow dump on channel 5 in our wireless card. And you may notice under authentication it says open. This is required when you're doing clientless attacks. It will allow you to create a fake authentication with the AP, so that way you can replay the packets. In newer versions of AirPlay, they have an option to test your injection and quality. I would recommend doing this if you have a wireless card that you're not sure if you have injection, if you're not sure if injection works with your wireless card. And just AirPlay -9 and then your interface. And you can see here it has a quality of 96%, so that's pretty good. First thing we're going to do is we're going to do the fake authentication. And I'm just going to stop arrow dump here so I can copy the BSSID number because I'm going to need it later. And just AirPlay -1 0, which is the delay, we just want to do it once, -A, which is the BSSID that we just copied, and then our interface. In older versions you had to specify the -H, which is your interface's MAC address. In the newer version it automatically inputs that if it's left blank, so saves you some time. Alright, and we just push enter and you can see that it, as you can see here, our interface was successfully associated with the AP. So now we can go and do our ARP Request Replay attack. And that is the -3 option. -3, and then we're going to add this -X, which is your transfer rate. because if you're running off like the live CD or like a virtual machine, or if you have a slow computer, if you don't cap off your packets per second, it could freeze or lock up or just not work. So it's a good idea to limit your packets per second so that way it doesn't happen. And your wireless card can't really pick up that many per second, so it's only really going to see probably on average like 100 IVs a second. So it's really not necessary to have a really high transfer rate. Alright, we're just going to restart AeroDump here with it's specifically looking for packets from this access point. And you do that by specifying the BSSID. Alright, and we're going to start our attack, and we're just going to wait for an ARP request packet. And as you can see there, it found one, and it automatically started replaying that packet, and you can see that the IVs are being generated. And it looks like at a rate of 176 per second. We're not going to let the text go all the way through. We're going to show you the next attack now.
Alright, we just showed you the ARP request replay attack. Next we're going to be showing you the fragmentation attack, which is also a clientless attack.
Alright, for situations where you're not picking up any ARP request packets, you can use the fragmentation attack. And when it's successful, it'll be able to generate 1500 bytes of the pseudo-random generated algorithm. Alright, then you can use this to generate packets that you can then use to inject and generate IVs. Basically, this attack works by obtaining a small amount of keying material from the packet, then attempts to send ARP or LLC packets with known content from the access point. If the packet is successfully echoed back by the AP, then a larger amount of key information can be obtained from the returned packet. This cycle is repeated several times until it obtains 1500 bytes of PRGA. And like I said before, this PRGA can be used to generate packets. This is also a clientless attack, so we need to do the fake authentication. And I'm going to put a delay of 30, so that means every 30 seconds your wireless card will try to re-authenticate itself. I'm doing this because sometimes when you're doing this fragmentation attack, you get de-authentication packets. Alright, and the fragmentation attack is the fifth option. And then you just do AirPlay -5 -B, which is the BSSID of our wireless of the access point. And now we'll start waiting for data packets. And it'll ask you to select one and just push yes. Sometimes the packets will work, sometimes they won't, so you just gotta keep on trying. This attack can get pretty frustrating because sometimes it doesn't work. And as you can see, it's picking up those different keyed information. And then it's replaying the packet again and getting more and more information. And when it's finished, it'll save the packet in a file. Then you can use Packet Forge to generate the packet from the keyed information. And you just do this by typing in Packet Forge -ng -o-a, which is the BSSID again. And then you gotta do -h, which is the MAC address of your wireless card. And you can find that just by doing an ifconfig and just type in the first 12 hex numbers. Then you gotta do -k, which is the source IP address, and then you just put in 255.255.255.255, and then do the same thing for the destination IP address, which is the -l. Then you gotta do -y, which points to the file that AirPlay created. And then you do -w to write this to a packet. and I'm just going to call it packet. Alright, now you're ready to use AirPlay to replay this packet over and over again to generate the new IVs. The second option in AirPlay will allow you to do this. So, -2, and then we're going to do the -X to limit our transfer. And then do -R, which is the packet, and then our interface. And of course, we got to start arrow dump up again. And just push yes to use that packet. That is the packet that AirForge created. And as you can see, the IVs are being generated, and they're increasing at a pretty good rate. The next attack we're going to show you is the cafe latte attack.
Alright, so this attack works against the client. Basically what it does is it waits for a broadcast ARP request from the client. These ARP requests actually happen to be gratuitous, so what it does is it takes in that ARP request, flips a few bits in the MAC and IP, corrects the ICV, and then sends it back to the client. And then it repeats this process back and forth to generate IVs quickly. Alright, for the cafe latte attack, as you can see, it is -6. Alright, we're going to put an air replay, -6 for the cafe latte attack, -X 150 to limit packets per second, and then -B and the SSID, and then obviously the interface. And then don't forget to start up arrow dump. Then we're just going to run air replay. Here we're just waiting for that gratuitous ARP request, and once we get that, we can start generating IVs. For some reason with our wireless card though, the IV capture rate is relatively slow. Hopefully it'll work faster on other wireless cards. Alright, that was the cafe latte attack. Next we're going to show you another client-based attack, which is the hurt attack.
Alright, basically this attack waits for an ARP or IP packet from the client, and once it gets that, it'll extract some of that the pseudo-random generated algorithm. And then with that information, it'll create a ARP request packet targeted to the client, and it'll replay that and get the IVs that way.
Alright, moving down the list, this one's going to be the -7, the hurt attack. Here it's just going to be air replay -7, again limit the packets per second with the -X, and then the SSID and the interface. And then don't forget to start up arrow dump. Alright, we're going to go ahead and run the attack and then just wait for it to receive that packet. Once it finds the packet, tell it to use it. And it's going to replay that packet, and as you can see, we're collecting those IVs relatively quickly.
The last thing we want to show you is the PTW cracking method. So we're just going to let the hurt attack continue collecting the IVs, and once we get to about 40,000, we can start running the attack. Alright, we just time-lapsed it here for you. And you can see that the data packets have reached to about 40,000. Depending on the length of your WEP key, it will take either anything in between 10,000 and 50,000 IVs. Ours is the 128-bit length key, so we have about 40,000, so it's pretty likely that we will be able to crack the WEP key using the PTW crack attack. We're just going to use the air crack program and then use -C to specify the PTW cracking method. So it seems that 40,000 wasn't enough to crack this WEP key. So it's going to try again automatically when the IVs reach 45,000. So we left the herd attack running, so let's just wait until it reaches that point and try again. And if you're looking at the time on air dump, you'll notice that it's only been 3 minutes, so this isn't really, it's not bad at all. Compared to the attack in episode 2, the packet replay attack, that took like 15 minutes and you had 500,000 IVs. These methods are way better compared to that method. And you can see that AirCrack automatically detected that it reached like 45,000 IVs and it started running the attack again. And there you go, it found it. And once you get the WEP key, you can use wireless assistant that comes with Backtrack 3 to connect to that AP. Just got to change your wireless card back into manage mode. See right there, we just did that. And then go to internet and then wireless assistant. And just click on the access point you want to connect to, and then follow the wizard. You should be able to connect to it with the WEP key you just cracked. And that's pretty much it.
Well, that's it on this episode of Full Disclosure, brought to you by InfinityExist.com. I'm Knox and this is Patch. I do also want to say that pretty soon here we're going to be purchasing a new camera, so please go to the website and donate. And you guys have a good one.